I don't care what he said, man. He owed me $50.
Do you like scary movies?
You open the box, we came. I don't know. That's the deal. I don't understand people. All right, I'm gonna just. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to a few things that ended. Thank God. In a minute. Yeah. So welcome to a nighttime. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. Yes, a little scary. Got that stick. Cup of coffee in the big time.
Yeah.
Forget that joke. Thank you.
Saturday night's main event.
Oh,
3 hours earlier.
Right here is Saturday night's main event. Hey, welcome everyone to Fandom Initiative. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's a little later in the day. Little after dinner delight. Consider us your dessert, if you will.
Yeah.
If you will, baby. Consider us. I'm gonna keep doing these wrestling references for no apparent reason at all. Obviously. Yeah. So yeah, it's I'm actually kind of liking doing the show at night. I'm actually kind of liking it. So I'm gonna be honest. You know why? I'm already in my pajamas. This is a pajama jammy jam. I'm already in my pajamas. This shirt is just for show. This is just for show. Down here, it's just like pajama joggers, which actually isn't much different from my.
Yeah, not to be confused with the house party
with my regular jog. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Didn't nobody called me. Kid nor play. Nor Bilal called me about that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. 470 did not call me. Yeah, we're doing this nighttime. If you know, life is changing always, and there's a lot going on in our respective lives. So, yeah, that's how this show was kind of born. Also, because I just want to talk spooky, scary stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm going to try my best not to use profanity. I'm going to try. I'm going to see what's going to happen. Keep our fingers crossed.
Let's try to bring them down to our level.
Yeah. So let's start with these introductions first. The man across from me, he is the cinema CEO. He's the cinema god. This is Michael Williams, y'all.
What's up, y'all? How are you?
And myself, I'm the hungriest man in the room. You can take that however you want. You can also, I also have a podcast I created called the Hungry Bleak Podcast, which, because I am the aforementioned Hungry Bleak, obviously, hashtag never for, hashtag the Dark Star, hashtag Mugs O'Plenty.
Yeah, exactly.
I am Antonio Pomares. Well, exactly. You know what? I think I conquered the t-shirt game. I have t-shirts I didn't even like put into the chamber. So I was like, you know what? Let me go.
You had to move to the mug game. You had to move to the mug game now.
The mug game is tight. The mug game is tight, brother.
You had to hang the 45 t-shirt from the rafters for now. Go try to do the mug game for right now.
Had to give it that salute, brother. Rock boy in the building tonight. Oh, thanks, Jay. So it's that time of year. It's that spooky time of year, right? We love, to the general public, like everybody loves this time of year spooky stuff because you got Halloween coming up. Fall, it's darker. You just have that feeling of it coming out, and it kind of does feel better to watch a scary movie this time of year. Like I love going to the movies or being on the couch, say like noon, got that like that kind of cloudy October sky, and it's there. I love putting on a movie. Come on, scare the hell out of me. So that's how the show was kind of born. We've done horror shows in the past, but I feel like there was a big crop of horror that came out, stuff that was there, and with all the streaming services that are out now, the plethora, thank you Three Amigos and Taz, the plethora of streaming services that are out, you have like this almost endless cavalcade of movies that you can watch, partake of, series that are out, and we're going to talk about some of the new ones, and we might even mention a couple of ones that might be new to us, because there was one that I watched that was new to me. I'd heard about it, I watched it. Chef's Kiss. It was just, it might be the best horror movie and psychological horror movie I've ever seen. And I understand why people have ranted about it so much, but it doesn't really get talked about very loudly, unfortunately.
Okay.
But before that, I'm trying to prepare myself. I'm like mentally stretching. I'm like mentally doing Kegels and stuff to try and like figure out how I want to even approach this damn movie. How are you doing, brother? How are you doing?
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
All right, cool.
I'm good.
I should have put some cognac in that. I really should have before we even start this mess.
You should.
Okay, so
yeah,
gotta get that. Yeah, you know what? I should have got that famous purple bag, Crown Royale. I'm kind of dreading what the hell's about to happen here, man. I'm kind of dreading this right off the bat. All right, so let's talk about movies. I'm already sweating into my panty shields. Halloween Ends.
Oh, we need a double yak for this.
No.
Triple yak.
No, because I'm not wasting yak on this movie. Okay, so this is the third and final movie in this new trilogy. That started with Halloween, then we got Halloween Kills, then we got Halloween Ends. I'm thankful that it was on Peacock. Now, first off, let me say I love Halloween. I love this movie, the series, John Carpenter, Jamie Lee Curtis. You know what I mean? Donald Pleasance. Thank you so very much, Dr. Loomis. And everything that's been about this series, it's been crazy. Look, I'll even watch Season of the Witch, which has nothing to do with any of the movies, but I will watch it because it is so out of nowhere and creepy and cool.
Yeah, interesting that you bring up that film.
But this series, the first movie was great. Loved it. Second movie, I'll give it this. It was like a commentary on mob mentality and the way things were going at that time. The lady showing up to the beatdown with the iron. I still was waiting for her to show up again because I wasn't even, she was going to, she was the one who could have did the biggest damage to Michael Myers. And she just stood there like, does anybody need starch? Does anybody need, you need me to pleat your pants? I don't know why I gave her that ridiculous accent. And then Halloween Ends. Yeah. You go ahead, brother. I don't This should not take long because there are more fun things to talk about. This shouldn't take long at all.
Simply put, it's terrible. It's terrible, and it is an injustice to Jamie Lee Curtis's character. It really kind of is. And I think what's interesting is that you aptly brought up Season of the Witch just before. Some reviews that I've read have basically kind of said that this is their vain attempt at sort of homaging that film in some way.
Shut your mouth. Blasphemy on Battle Beast internet.
Yeah,
dare you?
I gotta be honest with you. I'll be honest with everyone here who's even paying any attention to the show right now.
Which you should, obviously.
I have not seen Season of the Witch. That's the only Halloween movie I have not seen. And I can't speak for whether it's sort of an homage to it. I mean, I know I can understand why people are saying that, but I'll be honest with you, I see a completely different movie in this. And it's probably one of the best bad movies in the horror genre that I've seen in the last 20 years.
What? Ends?
Yeah. No, I mean the movie.
Season of the Witch.
The movie that I see in this movie.
Okay.
It reminds me more of Freddy vs. Jason. At least the first part of it does. Where this whole idea that he is basically bringing sacrifices to an inexplicably weakened Michael Myers, which to me doesn't make any sense. Like, why is one of the baddest horror icons of all time hiding in a storm drain in Haddonfield, Illinois? I don't understand that at all. There is no explanation as to why he's even in there.
I can give you headcanon on this.
Okay. What's the headcanon? Because your headcanon is probably better than anything that they put on screen in this film.
Well, this is what I do, brother. I come up with great stuff for these stories. I come up with great supplemental stories for these like mainstream stories. Like I'm the guy who would be like, when there's a big comic book event, I would come up with like all the side stories, and they're like, "Damn, that was great."
The whiteboard,
exactly.
You whiteboard.
I got strings together and everything. I got like, now if you connect this, I got big big wicker baskets full of yarn. I got, now this one is right here.
Exactly.
You got to go with this, but you're not good, you know. Exactly. I'm like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. So what is your headcanon on this, brother?
All right. My headcanon for this is it's only okay, so in this new timeline, there's only these 3 movies, correct?
Or Nexus event. Yes.
Yeah. There's only these 3 movies. We don't have anything else. They're not siblings anymore. We got nothing is left. From those old timers. Okay, so this is what I put in my head canon. Because in those other movies, he was like, couldn't stop, you know, won't stop, can't stop. Like he's worse than Diddy with like a remix tune. He cannot be stopped. In these movies, he's more human. So that's why he's there. Again, this is not what they've written. This is in my head canon because I had to, because nothing else in this movie made it. Was like 2 movies together, but I'll talk about that in a second. Let me get through my head canon. So he was weakened because of that ass whooping that he took, and then the vigorous stabbing of Laurie Strode's daughter. He was weakened. He was beaten, bruised. He needed time to recuperate. So he's in the storm drain. I mean, he can't just go to the, like, you know, the nearest motel. He ain't got no cash. He ain't got no ID. He ain't got nothing. Again, my headcanon, folks. This is what this is how I have sense of it. Otherwise, I would have just said, no, I'm good. And he's weakened. And like him, like, and this kid bringing him these, as you said, and that makes perfect sense, sacrifices are what got him mentally back there. You could even think of it in a way as a weakened God. He's bringing the sacrifices, and that's what's bringing him back to life.
Right.
Again, this is my headcanon to make this make sense.
Right.
Because if we take away everything else that's been there, this is what, because no one's thinking about him. No one's believing in him. No one's afraid of him. Similar to Freddy.
Now, you see where I draw the line on Freddy versus Jason?
Similar to Freddy, but I still...
I'm not saying...
Because I like that movie.
Yeah, I do like that movie. I do like Freddy versus Jason.
But that's how I get to it in that way. So it makes sense to me.
Okay. Now, see, that's where my headcanon is exactly the opposite. I would have thought, even though he took that ass whooping from the angry mob,
yes,
right? I would have thought that he would have actually become even more stronger at the end of Halloween Kills, even though he's not technically a sibling of Laurie Strode anymore. He's gotten inside of Laurie Strode's impenetrable fortress, right?
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah, by killing her daughter. So I would think that he would have so much resolve and so much power now at this point. Like, he would know that he is so close to literally breaking Laurie Strode that he wouldn't have to do this whole thing where he's like, and I get it, like, he's hiding out. It's supposed to be a time jump. It is a time jump, 4-year time jump. And Laurie Strode is finally kind of trying to letting her demons go after her daughter is savagely murdered. Right? And she's trying to move on with her life. And in some ways, Haddonfield is trying to move on with their lives, even though they're still willing to assess all the blame for their trauma to a certain extent on Laurie Strode, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I knew at the beginning watching this movie, we were in trouble when you took all of that time to introduce this new character. I knew we were in trouble from then. You know what I mean? Like, I was holding my head from that scene because I was like, okay, if Michael's not going to come out of here having killed this kid, or you haven't even shown him in any part of the scene, I was like, this is going to be a mess. As it already feels like a mess.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And it unfortunately, that's kind of where it went. Like, even the ending to me is kind of anticlimactic.
Well, what kind of ending would you have given? There's no way that you could have ended this and it would have been climactic. This was just this was a wet script, was a wet fart. That's honestly, there was no way you could have ended this and you'd have been like, yes, whoa, yes,
I know,
yes, baby, pull the car around. Let's go.
I know, and I know I'm asking
Red Robin tonight.
Exactly. I'm probably asking for too much, right? But I almost feel like it needs to, as ridiculous as this is going to sound, it almost has to be a carbon copy of the first film. Like, it has to be round 2, and in some ways it needs to be, in some ways, and this is going to sound ridiculous when I say this, it needs to be the Rocky 2 of this Halloween franchise.
Well, they needed to bookend each other. They should have been mirrors of one another.
Yes.
To truly tell that's what you do with a trilogy. You have to have them be bookends.
Yes.
This is what I thought about the kid. When he came in, it reminded me of, I forgot which movie it was, which Halloween it was. The one with with Paul Rudd.
Okay. Okay, yes.
That's
okay.
how it felt, because of bringing this new, and you're like, or they could be pulling a bait and switch. Oh no, it wasn't Jason. It was this other guy whose kid was killed in the beginning. I thought that might have been what they were doing. You could think of it also as he became the new Michael Myers, the new quote unquote God. Again, this is headcanon. The new fear God for Haddonfield. And they were all afraid of him. So he was getting all that adulation, for lack of a better term, or infamy from the townspeople that Michael would have gotten, because they kept saying that they were, like, they kept mentioning how nobody was worried about Michael anymore, but his kid, and they were mad at Laurie. So it was like nobody was seeing her as a hero anymore either. So I think that was diminishing Michael again. And then when they brought this kid in, he was like the new God giving the old God and looking up to him and going this. I'm gonna tell you something right off the bat. In the beginning, when that would have been a better story. Tell me the story of this kid and then him. Did he push him? Was it an accident? That would have been a better movie. It felt like they put 2 movies together.
Yeah,
because that love story, I was like,
yeah, I didn't buy
y'all wilding. I was a teenager.
I didn't buy.
I did reckless, ridiculous, dumb things.
Yeah, I didn't buy the love story.
It wasn't that I didn't buy it. I was like, why is this here? This makes no sense at all. None.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. I think what happened, and I'm reading a lot of that too, is that they were supposed to film kills and ends back to back, and the pandemic ruined that. So they either had to go back, and which doesn't make any sense, because if the script had already been written, because it sounds like it had already been written for kills and ends probably at the same time, why didn't you just wait and film it the way you wanted to film it in the first place? Like you said, it feels like they tacked on this part with the kid. And I almost feel like there's another movie somewhere out here, or scenes.
Don't you bring another movie into this, bro. I'm telling you.
Or scenes that didn't make this movie for some odd reason. Like, it's the strangest thing I've ever seen. And you know what? The studio almost does something extremely smart with this, right? And I don't know if they meant to do this on purpose, but they probably did. There was Jamie Lee Curtis 40 years of Halloween panel at New York City Comic Con, which was one of the better panels that I went to while I was there. And she pretty much, and of course, that's her job, right? She's an actress. That's her job, is to sell the film. Drew Barrymore, who was the moderator, sold the film like it was going to be something that people wanted to see and needed to see. But I don't know. There's also something else that happened during that panel where she talked about, Jamie Lee Curtis talks about why she is in Halloween Resurrection after Halloween H2O. Mm-hmm. So she basically says that Halloween H2O basically was kind of her idea. That she went to Deborah Hill and went to John Carpenter and said, wouldn't it be cool to have someone come back and play the same character that they played 20 years ago in a horror franchise? And that's sort of the birth of Halloween H2O. And initially the promise was given to her that she would come back and she would end the franchise. That she would have the opportunity to kill Michael in that movie. Mm. And then for some reason, you know, because you know how studios meddle, they got involved in it and they basically told her, no, we're not interested in ending this. So she, not happy about that, right? Because they've already told her, you're going to have the opportunity to do what you need to do with Michael. She says, okay, I'll do it. But then you have to bring me back for the next film and give me a whole ton of money to basically be in the beginning part of it. And that's how she appears in Resurrection.
In closing, folks.
And it almost feels the same way in this movie. It feels exactly the same way in this movie.
I hope she did get paid a lot of money. I'm sure she did.
What, and I'm glad that she did. Sure she did. I'm sure she did.
She has to sell it. Of course, it's her movie. You know, it's, I mean, let's be honest, it's her vehicle. This is one of the series that made her a huge star. You know what I mean?
Also, that was also something else I loved about that panel. She was very real, like very real and touched. Like she feels like this has basically been her career, you know, and that the fans have made her kind of what she is. She literally teared up and cried. Literally.
She always seems like, whenever I see something about her, she seems like a genuine person. She is, you know, seems like a very genuine person, and she knows her shit. And she's like, just seriously, I said I was gonna use it.
Anyway, we brought you down to our level,
pretty much. And she's always seemed like that. So that's why I've always been a fan of hers for that stuff. And also, I remember years ago she did that cover where she was like, "This is what it was like when the they get through editing a picture. This is what I really look like." And I was like, "That's a cool thing to me. This is what it is." In closing, I mean, watch it if you want. If you got Peacock, I mean, go ahead. Yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, if you got, how long is it? 2 hours? Like an hour and 40 minutes, like something like that. If you're doing laundry and you've got nothing else to do, I mean, you just had coitus with your partner or partners. I mean, go ahead. Whatever. Whatever. You got a couple hours to kill while, you know, your crock pot is cooking up whatever. Sure, why not? Whatever.
I mean, we might as well recommend the better film that's on Peacock to watch instead of watching that, because actually,
The Last Witch Hunter. Yes.
No, well, not that. Actually, it suggests the end of the movie that we're going to recommend you should watch on Peacock. Suggests that you should watch Halloween. Halloween Ends as the next movie, so you can not click on that when you get to the end of this film.
I think that what's the name is actually. I think Season of the Witch is on Peacock. I think. But there's another movie out because I was like diving through Peacock a little bit more, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they got some stuff." I started watching Prom Night after I watched
I
Halloween
know
Ends.
you told
I
me.
was
You
like,
told me. You told
"Why
me.
not? I'm
Like,
here for it."
well, you had to get that bad taste out of your mouth, so you know.
Well, you know what? I was in the Jamie Lee Curtis mood too. I actually
Mm.
should watch Scream Queens. I never watched that. I think that was on Fox.
Yes, it was on
For 2 or
Fox.
3 seasons, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, yeah, you know what? To do what you want. What is life? Who cares? So whatever. So the next thing that we're gonna go with is Let the Right One In on Showtime. So Showtime's doing something really cool. The last 3 series I can think of, they've taken like these classic or modern classic. I'm saying classic, but yeah, some of them are older. These movies that are like iconic and cult favorite, classic, whatever you want to call it, and they've made series either as a reboot or continuation of that. They did that with The Man Who Fell to Earth. They also done it with American Gigolo, and now they have Let the Right One In. This is really cool retelling. Now this is what the third project for it is based on a novel. They've had 2 movies, and now they have this series. I was trying to watch episode 3 on the Showtime app, and it was there, and then it said no, you can't watch it. Then it said that it wasn't even there at all. I said okay, so now y'all just playing with me. So screw it. I'm enjoying the hell out of this, loving it. It's funny, the actor Damien Bichir. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing his name properly.
Damien Beecher.
Yeah, Beecher. I was introduced to him on Showtime on Weeds.
Oh yes.
So to come, not full circle, but to come around like this and have this series, and for it, he's such a depth of talent, and he's just got this simmering kind of thing, and his voice and the movements and the way he acts is just, he's always a feast. Always. I dig him. Do you want to give the story of this series? The premise of this series and the movies, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, it basically started off as a Swedish vampire horror movie, which is basically about a father who has a young daughter who happens to be a vampire. And I mean, I feel like the overarching sort of theme of the movie is basically kind of like family, right? Like, what would you do to kind of protect someone in your family who, you know, isn't, I don't know what I want to say here. Isn't necessarily quote unquote perfect or whatever.
Who has an affliction.
It has an affliction, and that people are, you know, scared of them and kind of coming after them at the same time. The Swedish vampire movie is amazing. Like, that is amazing. Like, you guys really need to go and watch that movie if you haven't seen it. It has some imagery in there that is just stunning. You know,
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
As I know, I've seen the poster lately, but I've been on every damn streaming service. I can't remember which one it's on.
Yeah. And then oftentimes I get really nervous when we start talking about remaking films here in America, right? So sometime after that movie came out, there was a decision to remake Let the Right One In here in the States, and it was called Let Me In, which is very well directed by Matt Reeves, who directed The Batman and has directed Cloverfield and some other things. And that is the first time that I have ever seen a situation where the Americans or the American cinema establishment makes a movie, a remake, the right way and is almost as good as the original. It's almost as good as the original, and I literally tell people you should watch both of them. If you're going to watch them, watch the Swedish one first, and then if you want to watch it again, watch the American one after. I started using the ridiculous hashtag years ago, let me the right one in, describing both of them. Just really, really, really good. And it stars Chloe Grace Moretz, who is just so ridiculously underrated as an actress here in America.
She actually has a series.
Yeah, The Peripheral.
On Primetime, The Peripheral, which looks amazing. I started watching the first episode.
Good?
Yeah.
I wanted to check it out. The
first 2 episodes are up.
Okay. Yeah. So now Showtime has brought an entrance into this franchise, and I was able to see it the same day that it streams on Showtime, because it streams on Showtime on Fridays, and the actual premiere date should be Sunday, but they put it up early because obviously they want people to see it, and not have to jockey and compete with another show on HBO Max that is kind of not that great, at least to me anyway. But I saw a panel for it at Comic-Con with the cast after. I was literally on board after watching it. I was like, wow. I'm like, this is really good. I'm like, what they're kind of doing with it, the potential that it has is it's just like amazing, dude. Amazing. And I think, like you, Damian Beecher's really good in it. The whole cast is really good.
I was happy to see Nick Stahl. I was happy to see him in there.
Nick Stahl.
Anika Noni Rose.
Yeah.
Who I love.
Honestly, I am most impressed by the girl who plays Ellie.
Madison Taylor Bayes.
Yes, because
excuse me.
I was sitting there the whole time, dude, and I was like, where have I seen this girl before? And I couldn't figure out where I had seen her before. And then when the lights came up and I checked IMDb real quick, I was like, oh my God. Like, I, at work, at my day job, I oftentimes have to check a show called America's Got Talent. And the few times that I've checked it are episodes that she has been on. And she has not been on there acting per se. She's been on there singing. And this girl can absolutely sing. Like, the voice that comes out of that body is like, what? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm very impressed that just by her acting, like her, it's almost like, which is great, that she's not really aware of herself. She's always kind of like on mark. And I also very much believe her as Ellie so far, like very much, as this girl who just kind of knows that she potentially is a monster and doesn't really want to be, and kind of, is more concerned about her dad and what her dad's perception of her is. And it's just really, really, really good, dude.
Well, that's the thing, is that they play off each other wonderfully. They complement each other wonderfully because they're both worried about how the other is perceiving her and what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's I forgot the name of the father of I forgot the name of the actor.
Yeah.
I thought he had passed. I didn't know that he was still alive. I thought he had passed. I thought he was very sick. Who he still could be. So I'm not sure. I forgot it, but who's an actor that I love. Him and everything that he's in. He's just always so wonderfully sinister.
Yes.
In so much shape or form.
I agree.
The series is great. I'm loving the backstory of him coming back to New York, working in the restaurant that he helped to create and start. And then you start seeing the backstory about him and his quote unquote brother, and about Ellie's mother, and what happened there, and that turmoil. And then seeing the end of the first episode, obviously spoilers because what the hell, yes, watched the first episode at New York Comic Con. It was amazing. It's a really well done show. It's amazing. Thank you, Cerise Renee Murphy. When he kills the man and doesn't realize who he is, the minute I saw him in the episode where he was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh man, we got a black father that's messing up." Oh God, this dude, because he kept like, "Hey," because it was that, "Hey, don't be mad. I know I messed up. I know I was smoking crack rock last week, but Joe, I'm good. I got you. Holla back." I got. The only thing he could have done worse was if he had brought a stuffed animal, because there was always that scene where they got a stuffed animal. Like 30. And he's like, "Oh, you 30? I thought you might like the stuffed bunny that I got you. Remember we used to go to the carnival and we used to try that? Yeah, remember that?" There's always that scene. So that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And you see, like, who's the real monster?
Yeah.
But but why is he doing it? And then he's trying to find a cure, but then he's the one. It's funny because she's the vampire, but he's the one out hunting.
Yeah.
So there's that role reversal. I love it. And then when they're showing in the second episode, in the beginning, when they're showing him working out, and then they show him like breaking the body, and you show it like that's why he's so strong, because he's breaking his body. He's breaking the body down, but he's breaking the body down in a way that's much like a chef.
Yeah.
When you have to break down the different parts of an animal, if you're making something, and the way he's breaking it down, you can see that's where his expertise is coming from. So I like little details like that, like how you can bring things together. The cast is amazing. I absolutely love them.
Yeah, it's
like I said, I watched episode 2, and I want to see what's going to happen with this virus and who else is out there, who else is hunting, and the bullies. I was mad. I was like, if you make that boy eat that quarter, I'll come down there myself as stepdad. I was so, and it's funny, all the things I'm seeing in this series, and I was terrified of what was going to happen in that bathroom with those bullies. That's been the most cringe thing for me. Not the killing. And so, I mean, obviously it is, but seeing what's happening to this little boy who's being, where his mother's even saying, "I don't want you getting, picked on," because when she calls him a target, and I hated that moment. I was like, oh, because he wanted to do magic for himself, because he enjoyed it, he liked it, and it was something fun for him. And there's just a lot. This is a Showtime series. Like I said, this is the only episode 3 is coming out this week, I want to say. Should be tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be up on the Showtime app, maybe.
Yeah, they probably had some type of technical glitch. That's probably why you weren't.
Because it was coming up and I was trying to watch it. I was kept hitting my screen like, I need a new tablet. I need a So this is a really cool one. Go check this out. Now we go from vampires to werewolves.
Yeah.
So we got a special, like a TV special, and it reminded me of those old TV specials that you'd see on like CBS with like.
I love that beginning. I love that beginning that they did for it.
Yeah, which is Werewolf by Night. This is on Disney Plus.
Yes.
This was really cool, awesome. I absolutely had a ball watching this. This is going to tell the story of Jack Russell. Yes, very tongue in cheek. The characters from way back when they didn't really know how to come up with names. And you also are introduced to the Bloodstone family, which, look, I've been talking about it on this show. I've been talking about it Strange in the Membrane. I've been talking about wherever. I've been wanting the darker horror supernatural side of the MCU. I've been getting little glimpses of it. This one firmly delves into it with 2 iconic things, actually 3 iconic things. The Bloodstone family, which has this family of hunters. They've been hunting for centuries. Elias Bloodstone is I believe he was a caveman who got the Bloodstone, and it made him immortal, and he just started killing monsters for centuries.
Yeah.
And he has a daughter, Elsa Bloodstone. Elsa is a major character. You always know her by her shotgun, her red kind of quarter jacket. And Elias is dead. Finally died. So now this group of hunters get together to celebrate his death and to figure out who's going to get the Bloodstone next. And his daughter shows up after not being seen for years. But we also get this gentleman coming in, no weapons, nothing like that, face painted. His name is Jack. He has a lot of confirmed kills. I think it was over 200, maybe. I think something like that.
Over 100, I think.
Yo, over 100.
Yeah.
And the story starts from there. And they're hunting a monster at this at their manor. I want to say manor or castle. I don't know what have you. To see who will get the Bloodstone, because the Bloodstone is actually attached to this monster.
Yeah.
Jack turns out to be Jack Russell, the aforementioned werewolf by night. This is a character that goes back a long ways, has ties to Moon Knight. Moon Knight debuted, I want to say, in Werewolf by Night as a werewolf hunter hired by the committee. And his suit, he actually only used silver weapons. I don't even think we got a name, like his actual name, not Mark Spector part of him. I think it was just Moon Knight. And I read that story. I bought the omnibus, like the tomes. I think I had like the first 3, and I read through them. Before, years ago, I read through them, and I was so intrigued by it. It was so cool. So we have that link there. Obviously, we won't be getting. Actually, we might be getting a link to that, because we don't know what Mark, Jake, or Steve have been up to for all those years. So at some point, we may get a. So we're introduced to them. We're also introduced to Man-Thing.
Yes.
Marvel's Swamp Thing.
Yep.
If you can think about it like that.
Yeah.
So we're introduced to major cornerstones of the supernatural Marvel universe. Werewolf by Night, the Bloodstone family, Elsa Bloodstone in particular, and Man-Thing. We have some other hunters there that I was very curious about, and I'm wondering if something about them. I thought one hunter was from Wakanda, because I was like, wait, give me a monster hunter from Wakanda, baby. Give me a monster hunter who's using vibranium weapons. Because dude could get down until he couldn't get up. That kind of hurt me, because I was like, but I really enjoyed. This was like an hour and change.
Yeah. A little bit over an hour. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I think we were supposed to get a Blade cameo in here, but because of everything that's going on, unfortunately, and
production shut down, and
delays, everything that's going on, the shenanigans over there, we didn't get that. I think that would have been great to actually see or have some type of mention of Blade, because at first when I saw the character to the side, I thought at a certain point that's probably where Blade should have been.
Okay, yeah, I could see that,
because that would have been cool. But we get this hunter. As far as I know, the brother's from Wakanda. I'm saying he's from Wakanda. I don't care, whatever. Again, headcanon, folks.
His mother say he's from Wakanda. He's from Wakanda.
That boy from the east side of Wakanda. Yeah. Don't leave your vibranium outside, because they're gonna get it. They're gonna get it. Is he on the left side or the right side of the mound? Left side. Oh no, I don't mess with that, baby. I don't mess with that. Left side of the mound I ain't down. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was really cool, really special. It harkened back to those Halloween specials that you would get as a kid. Also harkened back to the MGM, the Hammer films. If you don't know the Hammer films, the
Universal Monsters,
Universal. If you don't know, if you know Universal but you don't know Hammer, go check out Hammer films.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, Peter Cushing,
absolutely.
Christopher Lee.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh. C'est magnifique. Raison d'être. Oh, French button got hit. Sorry, folks. Sometimes I break off in a couple other languages, y'all. I'm saying the tongue is very, very deep. But it was just very cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just a really feel good thing, which is weird. But it was very fun, tongue in cheek, had some dark humor in there. Uh, yeah, this was fun. This was cool. I had a great time with it.
Yeah, I agree, brother. I loved it. I watched it. I purposely waited to watch it. I don't know why, but I watched it last night before I went to sleep. Yeah. And in some ways I feel like, well, who knows? Who knows what Marvel's planning, right? Because they keep everything close to the vest until they spring it upon everyone. But if this was a test balloon, right, for them to potentially get content or more characters out here without necessarily committing to 9-episode arcs all the time, I think they found it. To tell a good story that is self-contained in an hour, that is chock full of plot, right? And it doesn't feel like you're getting cheated at all. I want to see other characters get introduced this way, you know?
Well, this is what, again, I've said this before. This is how you do comics.
Yes.
Marvel is a you say whatever you want about movies and everything, MCU. At the core, at the cornerstone, it's a comic book company.
Yeah.
That's what Marvel is. So this is how you do comics. There are a lot of comics where it's a one shot. It's maybe a 4-issue arc. Excuse me, a 4-issue series where you get this. Yeah, so that's what this was pretty much encased in. You can do this in the same form as a series. And you can have a great time. You can introduce this character. You can tie them up to different things because this was a workhorse special, but it was a fun special. Some workhorse things aren't always so fun, but they connect dots that you will need later on. They're laying that foundation for, say it with me, folks. You know, I say it every single time. Storytelling, world building.
I agree.
This is what you do. You lay those little bits there.
And I would absolutely love to see Man-Thing and Jack Russell in other things, right? Like, I don't think you cast Gael Garcia Bernal,
who was phenomenal.
Yeah, who was very phenomenal.
And I just watched him in Old, so I was really revved up for this. I was really revved up for this, honestly.
Yes. What'd you think of that, brother? Did you like that? Did you like Old?
I really enjoyed the hell out of Old. I loved. I did too. Oh God, it brought up a lot of. Oh yeah, it just brought up a lot of stuff with layers and relationships, and it's. I mean, yeah, it's scary and it's sad, but it's just relationship movie as well. It's very across the board stuff with that movie. So yeah, I was really a fan of it.
Yeah. I don't think you, like I said, I don't think you cast somebody like Gael Garcia Bernal in just a one-off thing. Like, I think they have some kind of plan down the line to bring his character back, and also to bring back Man-Thing at the appropriate time, maybe in something that's like, Midnight Suns, or if there is a potential for that down the line.
Well, he has a link to Blade now.
Yeah.
From the Avengers Man-Thing.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility. So again, yeah, you're laying these foundations, these breadcrumbs for different things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it again. I just really enjoyed it because it was fun. I don't have to go through 9 or 7 episodes. It's just a special is cool. Sometimes there are specials. Sometimes there are like like one-shot comics or graphic novels that again are like 4 issues one, and I'll read it, and it's its own self-contained story, and I'll read it because I enjoyed it. I don't have to get deep into anything. I don't have to go back and read this. I don't have to spend time. This was just fun. Like I said, it reminded me of a Halloween special.
Yeah.
And it was released on the Friday of New York Comic Con, I want to say.
Yeah, October 7th. Yeah.
I didn't know it had released.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I didn't know it was going to be that day.
Yeah, I didn't. Because I was sick, unfortunately, and I was somewhat delirious and loopy, and I was like, what? And I watched it, and it caught my attention. Yeah. As sick as I was, as kind of loopy as I was watching it, and I was like, and to see the characters that I knew, I was like, oh, Iron Man, Thor. Yeah. Show me these characters. Give me more of these, and get these really great actors portraying them. I'm in. So that was a cool one. So yeah, definitely, it's still up there. Like I said, it's like an hour and change.
Yeah.
It's not like
I think the rumor now is for the next, or not necessarily the next, meaning right after this one, but down the line, the Marvel Studios special presentation, they're thinking about doing Silver Surfer.
That could make sense because I know there's going to be a new Silver Surfer miniseries or series coming out, and I think I'd have to double check, but Silver Surfer maybe black, like not like black as far as like black, but like black, like a brother, like brother black, like not like brother black, like if I was on the black hand side black. So that would be cool, but that's the idea of that, and just August Silver. I remember when the animated series came out, it was different. It was so out there, and I was like, this is not going to last.
Yeah.
It's too good and too
it
much.
It was a little too high concept.
It was too much. But when you go back and watch it now, like as an adult, you're like, yeah, this was oof.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
because they introduced Adam Warlock on there too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, you know what else is awesome?
What's that, bro?
AMC. And if you had AMC Plus, you were able to watch Interview with the Vampire early.
Yes.
So we're 3 episodes in?
Yeah.
I've only 3 episodes in.
Only seen the first one so far.
Probably my series of the year so far.
Yeah. I'm not caught up, but that first episode was everything for me. Like everything. It's
beautiful. First off, again, I always love Anne Rice. And I think Anne Rice had something to do with this also before she passed. She had her hands in this. Oh my God. Yeah. This is it. We're getting Jacob Anderson, who was Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. Yeah, Game of Thrones. Sam Reed, who I'm not familiar with. I'll be honest with you. We got Eric Bogosian, who I'm a fan of.
Yes, exactly.
I'm a fan of this dude. Last time I saw him was in Billions.
Yeah, I had to stop the stream for a minute when he came on screen. I was like,
brother,
they got Eric Bogosian? I'm like, what?
Well, I knew that he was in it, but I didn't know what role.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him, I was like, yo, bet. All right. And that's like the 3 main characters of the movie, but we have this incredible cast. This is a beautiful series, shot and performed so well. The cast is incredible. The writing is amazing, and this is based on Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, is that right on Sean and his mom?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
so
she's popping up. Yes. Hopefully, she'll have a polarizer type of year. Yes. I see you, Paul. I see you. I peep you, Paul. I peep you. I peep you, baby. And I love that that Stan Lee impersonation that you were doing on The Boys. Yeah, I peep you, baby. I peep you. This is the story of Louis and Lestat, but with a bit of a difference. Louis is black, Creole. New Orleans. Lestat is still French. And it's a story of love and identity and what makes you human, what keeps you human. Can you stay human and be a vampire? Can you straddle that fence? Who are you? What are you? And to be Creole, to be black, to be queer, to be a vampire. All these things together and identity all set in a horror story while you're giving this interview with this man who you once attacked and bit during said interview. yeah, man, this is damn. And there's going to be a shared universe. There's another series that's going to be coming out of something witch.
What, the Mayfair Witches?
Yes, thank you. Yes. I mean, this is going to be, what's the universe called? The Immortal
Yeah,
universe, I
because
want
they
to
have
say.
that before the actual show starts. They have that
Yeah.
graphic that goes up, the
Yes.
Immortal Universe.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see what else is going to be coming up from this. I'm extremely excited about this idea. This is what was supposed to be the dark universe. This feels like it could be a much better. Give me like a, oh yeah, man, this is.
Now, has she written a Mummy story or no?
I don't know. No. Like not exactly like that, but I mean that shared
No.
universe of monsters and witches and such like that. You know what I mean? Like that universe, and see what else is out there. I mean, to a lesser, not lesser extent as far as quality, but for a more younger YA audience, you could think of the Vampire Diaries. Also had that shared universe where it was the Vampire Diaries, the originals, and there's another show too, the Academy or something like that, where it's like a school for them as well. I think this is one of the most beautifully done series. I absolutely love it. I love the themes that are involved. I love the banter. I love how it can go from horror to a drama to very dark humor with Lestat and the things he says to Louis and their banter between them as this couple and their power dynamic and how it's still Lestat's been around for centuries and he still doesn't understand white privilege because he thinks that he's beyond race. He recognizes race and the discrimination and such like that and the racism, but he still does but he thinks he's past it because he's a vampire, but still being white. And Louis like, no. And the scenes they have together, their dialogue, and it's just it's diabolical. I absolutely love this series. It's a must-watch TV. Must watch.
Yeah, I agree, brother. Like, you know, my experience with Interview with a Vampire is from from a very early age. Like, I feel like I have to big up my aunt because my aunt in some ways kind of introduced me in some ways to, I mean, she wasn't the only one, but this particular memory that I have is that she kind of introduced me to like vampire stories and just sort of like dark vampire like stories like that, right? Like I remember her as a kid like reading Interview with the Vampire. Like Interview with the Vampire was a huge book back when I was young. Like huge. Like there was like everybody and their mother had read that book. You know what I mean? And she literally took me a funny story. She literally took me to see Dracula on Broadway when Frank Langella was playing it on Broadway. And this is before Frank Langella did the actual movie that he winds up doing.
Damn, he's showing out now, brother.
Yeah. Oof. So
and that movie was bad. Not bad like bad, but that movie was bad. That was bad. 70s had some bad Dracula stuff going on.
All right. So what I remember initially from going to see Dracula on Broadway is that like before the curtain had even come up, like the curtain was kind of sheer and they had like these red lights behind it that were like showing off like eyes throughout the screen.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And I was like scared out of my mind, Antonio. I wanted to go home. my aunt looked at me. She was like, "We ain't going nowhere. I didn't spend all this money on these tickets."
That's what I'm saying. You can sit your little ass down. You can sit your little ass down there, polyester suit. You gonna sit down, boy.
Exactly.
And that non-flame retardant suit.
Exactly. But you know, I stayed through it. Put on my big boy pants, stayed through it, and I wound up enjoying it. Right. So, of course, Frank Langella comes out in the Dracula movie, I want to see the Dracula movie. I see the Dracula movie. So
it was that gateway drug, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
then
know, brother.
and then fast forward to when I'm in my what was it, late teens, early 20s. We do another interview with a vampire movie with Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, and Kirsten Dunst.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I love that movie. And I love that movie not because of Tom Cruise. I love that movie because Brad Pitt literally steals that entire film from Tom Cruise. Like it's almost like Brad Pitt is just on another level in that film. And I love it. Like I love how the story just kind of flows through Louis and it's from his perspective of everything. And I kind of knew that Anne Rice, I had heard the story that Anne Rice was not particularly happy that it was Tom Cruise. Like she wanted Rutger Hauer.
I remember hearing something because there's a podcast that goes along with it that I listened to. It's one of the few podcasts that they've been talking about it. Yeah, she didn't want Tom. Yeah. I don't think she wanted Brad Pitt either.
No,
I think she wanted somebody else for Louis.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, wow. I can't remember. I'll have to listen to the episode again, but I believe she wanted some. But
yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, but that movie,
but it's an iconic movie though.
It's a good movie. It is. Yeah, it's a really good movie for what it is. And then we get to now in present time when we're doing this show, and I had heard about it, and I was like, oh, okay, it sounds interesting. Like the people that they're amassing for this, and then when I watched it today, I was like, wow, like it's just like wow, like this show feels like cinema quality. Honestly, it does. And it's interesting because not only is Grey Worm cast in here as Louis, but one of the better directors of Game of Thrones directed this first episode, Alan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so well done and just beautiful. And in some ways, I watching this show, I can see why she didn't want Tom Cruise necessarily. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Lestat just has to be this. I don't even know how to describe it.
He has to be more.
Yes, like way more.
Lestat is about more. Lestat is about the drama. Lestat is about that.
And very charming and engaging. And it's not that Tom Cruise isn't. He's just not that kind of charming and engaging.
He does. He has it, but he doesn't have that extra bit that we have a question from Cerise Rennie Murphy, acclaimed author and virtuous content creator. What are your thoughts on the hate the show is getting? Didn't realize the show was getting hate. I'll be honest with you.
No, I didn't either. But thinking about what we just talked about in the introduction of this, I can see where that is.
I can see why on a couple different reasons, because of the race switching or race swap. I forgot what it is, a race swap of that. But I think it tells a way more interesting story, and it delves more into real things. I mean, that again, him not only being, when he has a line where he goes, where he's talking to Lestat, and he goes, white Creole. What is it? He says three things together, but he points to Lestat and he goes white, and then he points to himself Creole, and he goes queer towards himself, and he goes to Lestat, and he goes are you half queer, mostly queer? What are you? And he goes indiscriminate, which I think is, again, their banter is so, oh my god, it's so incredible the way they go back and forth. And he even said there's a character that gives him praise, but he's like, placating him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you did a good job." And he kills him. He goes, "Why'd you kill him?" He's like, "Because he said a good job." And he says, "You are a library. You are a library of confusion. I don't know how to even deal with you sometimes." But I understood what he was saying, because that dude was just like, "Oh, you're doing a good job, boy." And he calls, a fledgling. He goes, "I don't like that word fledgling. You're saying it too much. I don't like the tone." And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "It sounds a lot like slave." And he was like, "That's not what I'm saying." And the way they're going back and forth. So I can understand it. I can understand why there's hate, because there's always going to be hate for something, especially when it's a beloved property like this and you change those things. But these changes are so important and so minute. No, that's what it was. At one point, Cher was supposed to be Louis. And I think Anne Rice for the movie wanted Louis to be transgender. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Something like that, because Cher even made a song for the movie, apparently, that
okay.
was not released until 2013.
Okay.
And I heard that and I was like, oh, that would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, whenever there's some type of beloved thing like this, and again, it's fans. Fans can be incredible, or they can be right down horrible.
Yeah, I completely agree with Antonio on this. Like I know, and I know when I say this, it's almost like I'm giving, even me doing that is giving it too much energy. But I look at what fans just kind of overreact to now to every little thing,
Because
and
entitlement.
And all I do is give it an eye roll and just keep going, because it's just like, who cares? If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. There are plenty of people out here who do want to watch this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I just don't care. Like, fandoms are going to complain just to complain. They don't have anything else to do. Yeah.
This right here sums it up perfectly. Yeah. Lestat does need to be old world elegant, charming.
Yes.
Almost.
So she
yeah.
She basically says what I tried to say. Exactly.
Almost.
Yes.
Almost sly and cunning.
Yes.
Roguish.
Yes.
He's the guy who hops up on a couch.
Yes.
He's so glib, Michael.
Exactly.
You're so glib.
Exactly.
But you're glib.
Exactly.
So glib.
Exactly.
But yeah, and then when you add in the queer factor of it, and that simmering, and him struggling with his sexuality and trying to figure that out, there's hints of it all throughout the movie, because you're like, just the way, there's got to be somebody was pulling somebody's hair at least one night. So when they're delving deeper into it, and it's an interracial relationship in New Orleans at that time, and then they're vampires. There's this, it's, oh god, it's just this wonderful mix of so many incredible things. Like I said, it's must-watch TV for me. It is. It's sure. Much like when it comes, because I have AMC Plus. Because there was something on there that I wanted to watch. I can't remember what the hell it was, but I'll still keep it, obviously. And I just love it. I love being able to watch it early. It's awesome. Lestat from Queen of the Damned was more close to the books than Lestat, I believe. I never read the books. I don't know how I feel about Stuart Townsend as Lestat.
Yeah.
I think the movie just suffered from a few things, unfortunately. For one, being compared to Interview with a Vampire. I haven't seen it in a long time. I loved Aaliyah in it. She was like a very shining star in it, but I have to watch the movie, both movies again, actually, because I haven't seen them in so long. But yeah, this is beautiful, and the gore scenes are wonderful. I love vampires, and yeah. So next up is Midnight Club. No, not the
game.
Not the game, which is what I thought at first. I was like, oh, so we got a racing thing. This is really cool. This is something from Mike Flanagan. We all know Mike Flanagan. The Haunting of Put Your House Here, whatever the hell it is. Midnight Mass, which is incredible. And there's a movie also, and everything is kind of linked together. There are always little links and nods to each other in there. You won't see characters crossing lines, but you'll see little nods into everything. This is from him. This is the story of young teenagers. Now, this may be difficult for some people to watch, and I totally understand why it would be. This is the story of terminal teenagers who live at this hospice. And at night, like around midnight, they all come down to the common area, and they tell scary stories to each other.
Okay.
But there's something else going on in the house as well, some manner of haunting. And I think this is actually the same house from The Haunting of Hill House.
Really?
It looks familiar. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. But like I said, there's always links to everything there. And it's set in the 90s, early 2000s, I would say. I think more of the 90s.
Okay.
I've watched the first episode and a half, and I really enjoy it. First off, it's Mike Flanagan. So you've got me right there. The cast is this young, incredible cast that are... They each have their different personalities, and sometimes they actually go by the name of what they're dying from in like a gallows humor kind of a way, and owning what's happening to them. We're introduced to them with this young girl who's supposed to be going off to college. She gets sick, and instead of being sent to drove to college, she's being drove to this hospice where she's going to live out the rest of her life. And we go from there. There are a lot of, I believe there are going to be like horror icons that we know, actors who are going to be in this. One that shows up, she's actually the one who runs the house, is Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
Who's always been a favorite of mine. She's always been like
Heather Langenkamp.
Yeah, between her and trying to remember the actress from Hellraiser, the original actress. Not Joey, so I can't remember her name, but her. Those are the two final girls, for lack of a better term, that always hit me as being my favorites. It's Flanagan, so it's going to be dark, but I think because it's teenagers and it's dealing with terminal illnesses, and I believe there is self-harm in this series. So obviously spoilers, and warning for you all. I'll understand why some people won't want to watch it, but I'm watching it because of these young actors who are really cool in this. I really like it, and it's Flanagan, and I want to see that. And I like the idea of them getting together for these stories, and that's their normalcy.
Yeah, I gotta check it out because they promoted the hell out of it at Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's
like there were billboards all over the place for it.
Yeah. It's definitely something. And again, Mike Flanagan. I'm trying to think of anything that of his so far that I've watched on Netflix that I haven't liked. And everything's been gold. They brought up the Brinks truck to this cat's house. And they're giving it, they even have a thing where it says, on Netflix at the bottom, it'll say more like this, or it'll say more in this collection. I think it says the Flaniverse collection, and then gives the properties that he's got on there. Because they're all Netflix properties. It's really and it has that feel. It has slow burn, but I know when I get to that point, I'm going to be like, oh my god, which he always gives this great payoff. He's got the slow burn, which I always appreciate from him. So check that one out. Now, have you seen a new Hellraiser, brother?
I have, brother. I watched it last night.
I'm a fan. I was introduced to Hellraiser in high school.
Yes.
My high school sweetheart said, "Hey, do you like scary movies?" I was like, at that point, I was like, no. She was like, "Oh, okay, well, we're gonna watch this movie." I was like, "Wait, so you didn't hear me say no?" Oh, all right, cool, whatever. Story of my life.
F your feelings.
Yeah, obviously. Story of my romantic life. So she brings over the VHS. Yes, I did say VHS because this gray is not for fashion. It's part of the ensemble.
You could have been Laserdisc, brother.
Brother, you've been throwing around like frisbee. Who had money for a Laserdisc back then? Who had money for that? Wildin'. You wildin', B. You wildin'. Pops it in, and I'm just in love with this movie. I've seen it probably about a few hundred times, probably. If it's on, I'll watch it. Every so often, I'll watch it. I love it. That and the 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, unfortunately, Hellraiser has like 90 sequels.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was one of the best horror movies ever. Clive Barker, obviously, man, myth, legend. So we get this rebooted remake of Moodification of I'm gonna bring that old one back. Yeah, I know you wasn't expecting that shit. Of Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Which tells the story of, I'm trying to think of the young girl's name, Riley.
Yes.
Tells the story of Riley and the box.
Yes.
You open the box, we came. Now the biggest difference with this is that it's almost like a blend of 1 and 2.
Yes.
Because of the doctor. But the biggest difference is that Pinhead is being portrayed as a woman. This was a big thing. Which I did enjoy. I do miss Doug Bradley. I do miss that cat. He just brought something there, man. He did. But we still do get the Cenobites as well. And it tells a story of a young addict who gets the box and has to figure out, and it turns out that the box, with each transformation, you have to get it to it, because it is in essence a puzzle. It is a puzzle. You have to figure it out, and once you get to that last lament, a god comes down from the sky, lament, and will give you a wish. I'm sure there's some type of, but there's always going to be a twist to it. Every movie like this is going to be a twist to it. And it's her trying to figure this out along with her brother, his boyfriend, and a guy that she's seeing, and the friend of theirs. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the original. I love the original because Frank is such a horrible person. And I love Frank and Julia are horrible people. There's nobody in that movie except for, God, I want to say her name is Joey. I don't know why. Because I remember the line, "Joey, send me to hell," when the sergeant turns into Pinhead. Excuse me, Pinhead. But there's nobody in that movie who's really redeemable. Everybody's horrible in that movie. This one, not everybody's horrible, but you do understand why they have to die. In essence, I enjoyed it for what it was. I'll still go back and watch the original.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that scene, Julia, my hand, man up, dude. Man up. That actor always pisses me off too. That's how I know he's good, because he always pisses me off in the roles he plays. What'd you think of this movie?
I thought it was good for what it is. You know what I mean? And
you notice the high pitched voice that just happened there, folks. I know when Michael says it, I'm like,
no. I don't really have any complaints about.
Let me rub my hairline away a little bit more.
I don't have any complaints about the movie at all. Like, I think I'm not sure that today's audience, meaning younger than you and I, brother, can really appreciate Hellraiser at all. Like, I just don't think they can. You know, I think Hellraiser is just one of those movies that's like and I think that's probably just how I feel about all of those horror movies that you and I were brought up on. It's just, it's very different now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that audiences now can appreciate those movies. Like, those things were just like, man.
Like the I was having a conversation on in a chat group, which is very rare for me, about like the 2000s, like Blumhouse, Dark Moon, Puppet Master, like that generation of movies. I enjoyed it for what it was and the time that it's in. And I understand it's a different time, different era, everything like that, what have you. I enjoy what they did with it. I will enjoy if Hulu keeps doing this, because they've got Predator with Prey, which was phenomenal. Holy cow. That and the original Predator, Alien versus Predator, Sanaa Lathan as the hero. I still want follow-up on what happened to her character, Alex. because she was hunting with them.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And these are my three.
Yeah,
are awesome.
What I will say is that I liked a lot of the, and I don't even know how you say this, stylistic choices that they made as far as like Pinhead. The new Pinhead's outfit is almost seems like
Yes.
the design is in the skin.
Yes.
You know, and it's not necessarily a robe like the Doug Bradley character is.
Yeah.
Like
they use more of the flesh.
Yeah, they did some really interesting style choices here, which I like. Like if you're gonna remake something or redo it, you gotta go for it. Just go all the way. Like I say all the time, go for it. Yes, people aren't gonna get it sometimes. Maybe they'll get it in 5 years or something like that. But you just gotta go for it. Make the movie you want to make.
Yeah, as long as you have the foundation and the core.
Exactly.
You can go, because using the flesh, because they
Yes.
say they talk about flesh a lot in the movie.
Yes.
So use it, because even at the end when you're seeing the doctor become a Cenobite, you see them changing the flesh and twisting it and everything. And I was like, this is cool.
And I'm glad you brought that up, brother, because that was something that had always lingered for me from the original series, right? Because I remember sometime when I watched it, that especially that first one, where they kind of
Yes,
is it
Carlo,
just
you are
me?
right.
Is it just me where they reference in that first movie, the original film, where they talk about there are almost two ways to open the lament configuration. One will either bring you the pain or delights of hell, or if you open it another way, it opens, and I'm paraphrasing here, like the gates to heaven and a different experience. Did I miss that in the first movie or no?
I don't remember hearing that at all. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I think because of who I am, obviously, I went more with the dark side and the pain and the pleasure of that. Because
but what's interesting is that in this remake, that ending scene when he becomes a Cenobite almost feels like there's a heavy, yes, there is this suffering connotation, obviously, in watching it and watching what happens to him. But it's how it looks when they pull all the way out and they show you what he looks like.
Yeah.
That almost has this very different angelic crucifixion type connotation to it, especially with that very white background.
Yeah. Well, you figure, I mean, pain and pleasure are only a thin line away, and they're right on the edge. And if you do one just enough, the other can come. So there's a very deep BDSM kind of link with this. And it does make sense that one can be the other and the other can be one. It just depends on the person, what your thresholds are, and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So those chains, when they come out of the box, when they come out and they're rendering the flesh, is it? The pleasure is subjective.
Yeah.
The pain is subjective. Save those tears.
Yeah, and I love that guy. Goran Visnich is his name.
Yes, yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, widely known for ER.
Yes,
but he does other stuff. He has. There's just some. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I definitely got to go back and rewatch.
Yeah, Carlo says that that they do reference that in the first one, but it's basically a lie to lure people to the box.
Because it's that there is there is a definite pleasure in the pain. There is. It's just And the Cenobites are looking at it because they're seeing it. But when you look at the doctor at the end, and he's being turned into a Cenobite, I don't know. Maybe it's just my imagination, or again because of how I am. There looks like there's a bit of pleasure in his face, like a little bit of a smile.
Yeah, because I think ultimately that's kind of what his intention was and what he really wanted from it.
Yeah, and I mean, because not everyone is turned.
Yeah, because when you realize they kind of f dude up with that thing that was initially hooked up into him.
Well, and it would happen randomly, and I was like, oh
yeah. When they finally showed him in that,
are you okay?
I was like, what? I was like, how are you alive, dude?
I was like, he don't even know. And it would happen, and it was that string, and I was like, oh my god. And when it finally broke out, there was relief, but then
then he gets the maximum package.
Yeah. But Riley did the one thing that nobody else has done. She opened it and she was like, no, I know there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no good that will come of any wish that I have or anything that I say. Well, there's no good that will come of it.
Yeah.
And that took away their pleasure, the Cenobites' pleasure, which is interesting to me, to take away their pleasure like that. So it is a lie, because they just want you to come to it because it's their pleasure. Yeah. Because they'll always tell you, save those tears. And your suffering will be legendary, even in hell. What does that mean? And I love that line. I love, you open a box, we came. That's the deal. That's the deal. Oh man,
I love that they let her say, we have so many sights to show you. I love that part too.
That line is so is diabolical.
She's just so good. She's good in it. She's the person that they picked to play Pinhead is good. She is good in it.
It's just,
I would love them to do something where she meets Doug Bradley's Pinhead. It would be very interesting.
I was hoping that he was going to make like a
guest appearance or something like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the actress's name who played
Jamie
Clayton. Yep, Jamie Clayton.
It'd be real interesting to see them play off of one another.
Yeah, like it was just it was just awesome. I really might have. I'm probably gonna have to go back and watch 1, 2, and 3. 3 is when it started getting kind of 2000 Showtime original. Got like is where I started getting to that point. But it was still good. This is how you know it was getting to that point. And this is no knock on her; it was just her error. Paula Marshall was in it.
Yeah.
So and that's again no knock to Paula Marshall. I was a huge fan of Paula Marshall. Had a crush on her at one time. Because the 90s, 2000s was a crazy time. So there you go. All right, so comics. There are a couple that came out recently that are horror wise. Sacrament. This is from AWA Studios. No, that's not a wrestling company. I promise. It's basically take The Exorcist, but in space. Outlaws, a religion is kind of outlawed. So priests go from settlement to settlement, giving sacrament and confessions to people, but they have to be quick because like the authorities will come and arrest them. So, and they even have little like devices like cell phones that they'll put up against your head, and there's something in there that will actually help to alleviate your mental suffering and pain from the sins that you've confessed and everything like that. Awesome. So this priest was disillusioned. He drinks when no one's looking. He has sex with some of settlement citizens and settlers. I guess I should say, settlers and settlements. And he was part of an exorcist years ago that he doesn't even know if it was truly an exorcism. He doesn't know. So the authorities are looking for him because they want him to help with an exorcism, possible exorcism. And he's like, I just want this all to end. I've lost my faith. I don't really believe in any of this anymore. I was hoping that you were going to arrest me and re-educate me. I'm not for this. And it goes from there. It's actually really good. I picked it up as a yada yada kind of. Most of my comics I buy digitally now just because of space, time, cost, to be honest with you. I still do buy stuff from comic book shops. As always, go support your local comic book shop, especially if you like a lot of the stuff that we've talked about that are comic book properties. Go to your local comic book shop, ask them, hey, I like this. I heard about this on Fandom Initiative, name drop. And what would be good to follow up on this, or what gives me more of a story for this.
Right.
So anyway, it was an impulse buy. I got it and I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. It's not with my usual thing, which is why I like it too. So, and it has some adult themes, obviously, with some drugs, some drinking, sex, and the horror of it is really good. But it's almost like a psychological thing too, because you're wondering, did he actually do an exorcism? You don't know. He doesn't even know, which is what I like. And to tie in with Werewolf by Night, there is Crypt of Shadows, which came out this past week. This is a kind of an anthology where it has a few different stories. There's one from Wolverine, Laura, not Logan, Laura. There's one, I believe, with Ghost Rider. I haven't read it yet, unfortunately. But the ones that got me the most interested are Bloodline, who is the daughter of Blade. This is written by Danny Lore. Yes, sign me up. I still need to get my free comic book day comics with the story of Bloodline. Well, one of a Bloodline story that's I want them to sign. They're just awesome. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so stoked to things coming out in February. Yeah, and I'm just excited to read about that. There's also a story in there called Werewolf by Moon Night, where it revisits their story and gives a little bit more of an updated feel to it. It's not going to be as scary as you would think. There's also a Man Thing story in there I wanted to. I think there's like 5 stories in there. It's not going to be like blood curdling scary. Oh my god! It's not, okay, but it's the MCU. It's going to be cool. You're going to get some action. You're going to get some drama. You're going to get some scares. You're going to get characters that you may not know that you do know, and you're also going to get these new stories that are going to be there. The 2 writers I'm excited about the most in that are Rebecca Rowanhorse, yes, Trail of Lightning, Storm of Locusts, and Danny Lore, Queen of Dreams or Queen of Nightmares. I'm trying to remember. And then like Bloodline, which I'm excited about because I'm a fan of them and I really want to see where this is going. So those are the 2 things as far as comics that are recent, that are scare, that I can think of. But there's so much. I will say something I watched. I heard about it for the longest time on Peacock, and I ended up watching it. Is a movie called Triangle. It's the story of a woman and maybe I don't know, it's a few of her friends, like 3 or 4 of her friends. They take a boat and they go out on this like kind of like not a yacht, but like I don't know what the technical term would be, schooner. I have no idea. And they're just going out to have like a day party kind of a thing, and they end up getting lost, and they come up against this really big ship, like kind of like a cruise ship almost. They get on board. And this person with a bag on their head, like a work suit and a shotgun, starts killing them. And the woman has to figure out what's going on, what's happening. The twist happens about maybe about 10, 15 minutes into the movie, but it doesn't matter. The twist just opens up another layer. This movie is like an onion. There's so many layers. It starts out as you think it's going to be a slasher, but then you realize that it has deeper implications. And by the end of the movie, you're perplexed. You're wondering what's actually going on. And you're wondering where this character is. Because there becomes this time loop of it keeps happening, and she has to figure out how to stop it. Once the twist is revealed, the movie takes a sharp left turn into the woods. You get out of the car, you set it on fire, and then you go into it's probably the best horror movie I've seen. Maybe aside from, let's say, Get Out.
Okay.
It's on that level of it stays in your head. Get Out, Triangle, Audition. Oh God. Oh Jesus. I didn't want to date after that movie. I was like, I'm good. Well, no problem with nobody. And Creep.
Okay.
Death by Temptation. Death by Temptation stays in my head too. Sugar Hill. Not the rap group, but the horror movie.
Yes.
Hip hop. No. Hip hop. Obviously, I'm messing up the lyrics completely because copyright infringement. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get sued or nothing like that.
I thought you were gonna bring up whatchamacallit though. The Black Phone.
Oh my God, yes.
Which I actually watched yesterday too.
Damn, man, you got a horror fest, a horror. That movie was incredibly. The little girl in that movie is the best part of that movie.
Yes, I was thoroughly impressed by the Black Phone. Like when I saw the trailers in the theater, I didn't necessarily want to see it. I was like, here we go, like another Blumhouse throwaway.
No,
but when I watched it yesterday, the Black Phone is one of those rare films that you think is going to be a certain way, and then you don't see the other part of it that's just so brilliantly kind of tied together to it. It's very slasher, but supernatural and somehow put together in such a way that it just completely works.
It's psychological more. It's
it just completely works.
The thing that I love about that movie, aside from Ethan, I'm about to say Ethan Hunt, Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
I think he didn't want to do them because he was like being bad guys. But he did such a great job in the movie.
Yes, he plays them so well.
And it's a movie that's so right in front of you that you don't see it.
Yes.
And you don't realize because you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna get away. But you're like, those kids are already dead. It's such a dark because the daughter even has a line where her brother goes, "You don't think they're gonna find him, do you?" And she goes, "Not how they want to." And when that line sums up that movie, and I was like,
yeah,
it's a line, and she delivered it in such a way. She's like she's a shining star in that movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The brother and sister are shining stars in that movie.
Absolutely.
When the father's beating her with the belt, I was like on my couch, like trying to get up. I wanted to get up to help her, and her brother's just standing there, and he's like, you'll get the same thing, and you'll get it. And she's like, I won't. And then she's holding the bottle. She's like, you hit me again, I'll drop the liquor bottle. She's a shining star in that movie. She's and it had that feeling of Get Out, where she's the one who saves him. Where, I can't remember Chris. Is that the character's name in Get Out?
I believe so.
And being saved by your best friend, where this is their best friend, but his sister.
Yes.
And then seeing, it just was, Black Phone is brilliantly done.
Yeah, it's really well done. Really well done.
And each of them helping him. And then he's waiting for another call, and there's nobody else. It's you. That's it. But they each give him, and you're trying to figure out how the hell does all this go together? And then you figure each piece is a piece for him to. So they had to die for him to live and stop this killer, which is so dark also. And that he knew these kids. And you see each of these kids beforehand. And when you see the black balloons and the way they fade out when they show the black balloons, as if it is a documentary. Yeah. It's just, damn. I got to watch the movie again. Yeah. It is so, oh, damn.
And I'm going to say something, brother, because I know he doesn't necessarily want to play bad guys, right? Ethan Hawke. But for years, people have been talking about this guy possibly playing, or would be a good choice playing Freddy Krueger. Kevin Bacon. I think Ethan Hawke probably would be a better fit for it after watching Black Phone.
He can have that, but he'd have to have a bit more of an edge to him with what he was, because there he was doing it more as a more passive aggressive, like, oh, well, you don't want it, I guess. You know what I mean? More in that way. Where I think I can see Kevin Bacon because he has more of that swarmy. So I see why they're saying that. So Hawk would have to have more of a swarmy side to him. I don't know if he's. I'm trying to think if he's done swarm. He probably hasn't. I just don't really. But he's like he would have to have more of like a swarminess to him.
Yeah.
More of that swagger too, because Freddy has swagger, and Kevin Bacon has that swagger and stuff. So it'd have to be yeah. Well, he actually has a horror movie out too on Peacock.
Oh, Kevin
An
Bacon?
original, yep, called They Them.
Oh, okay.
It's about he's like the owner or runner of a camp where parents send their children, queer children, gay, bi, gender fluid, trans, non-binary, send their children, and it's one of those conversion camps. But there's a serial killer there. So yeah, he has that movie. I haven't watched it yet. I have to watch that just because I want to see that, because it's interesting that you would have that kind of thing. And it made me think of Sleepaway Camp, which is a movie that messed people up because they were like, wait, what? That last scene echoes in so many people's heads. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you know that scene. Yeah, so there's that. Years ago, I don't know if you remember this, on Bravo, there was, this time of year, I would be tuned to Bravo because there was a series that was called Scariest Movie Moments. And it was like, the first one was like, I think it was like 20, and they would give you 5 on each episode. Then there was another one that was like 30, I think, or what have you. And they would give you movies that you may not have seen, but this is what the movie's about. And it was like Eli Roth. This was like, God, maybe 10, 11 years ago. I think on Shudder, there's a new series like that, and it's 100. I have to go through and watch that. And I know it's going to mess me up because movies I probably haven't even seen, or I've seen that. Because some of those movies I hadn't seen, I was like, wait, what? Hold on. What? So yeah, so I want to check. There's also, I would be remiss if I didn't say this, horror noir on Shudder about black horror. Please watch that. Beautiful. Yes, loved it. But yeah, Triangle, Black Phone. You know what? Peacock is raising the bar. Peacock and Hulu low key are putting out, like, I have like horror stuff on lock, kind of. They really do. I mean, your other ones are going to have it, but check them out because they definitely got some stuff there.
Yeah.
They got a Vampire Academy too, which is, I'm enjoying it for what it is. It's better than First Kill.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what happened, because these guys, I thought these guys had some type of arrangement with Blumhouse, Prime Video. Didn't they do that thing a few years ago around Halloween time where they put these like original Blumhouse movies up
on Hulu?
No, on Prime Video. One of them was a black horror film. I can't even think of what the name of it is now. But wasn't Felicia Rashad in that movie?
That was Hulu, brother. Yeah.
That's Hulu
Those
or
movies
Prime?
No, Hulu. All those movies were on Hulu. You're thinking of maybe Them, which is on Hulu. I'm Prime, excuse me, Prime.
No.
But those movies where it was that chain of movies that they did, that was Hulu.
Hold on.
Because it was the one, where Felicia Rashad was the professor. and she did like kind of like a personality transplant with her son.
Yeah, I think it was called
Black Box,
Black
maybe.
Box. Hold on. Black Box.
That should be on Hulu. Because it was like last year or the year before. Because it was like maybe Blumhouse Presents, something like that.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
That's on Prime?
Yeah.
Because Hulu had something with them too.
Yeah, that wasn't the only one. Black Box, and then there was another
They
one
had like
with
5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, it was the one with the girl from Euphoria. Sydney Sweeney, I think, was in that one.
Oh, they had one with her?
Oh. Yeah.
I know there was one, I think, called maybe Lie or something like that.
The Lie.
Or something like that. But
The Lie was the name of it.
Oh, that's the same one?
Yeah, I think that is that the one with Sydney Sweeney? I think it is.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because there was a point where, I mean, it's been pretty good for horror in the last couple of years, especially. I guess.
Yeah.
We're all scared as hell anyway with the pandemic that happened. That was still going on, I should say.
Yeah, true.
But it's
no, not Sydney Sweeney. I'm a dummy. It's what's her name? It's Joey King.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was The Lie.
Yes, that's
the lie. No, the movie's called The Lie. I'm not calling Michael a liar. That was
and that's on Prime too.
Yeah. She had a movie on, I don't know if it was ever in theaters. I don't know if it was straight to I have no idea. On Hulu.
Yes, The Princess.
Yes. Dude,
that movie is amazing, dude.
Did not expect that.
Yes.
Didn't expect it.
Yes.
Didn't expect it.
She absolutely
I watched the trailer now
in that movie.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, let me check this out. And I watched it and I was like, yo, this is a low-key banger. This is ridiculous. Yes. I watched it after I watched Prey. And they fit together perfectly. It was it's like Rapunzel, but she's like a it's like a mix of Rapunzel and oh my god, man, Die Hard.
Yes. Yes, completely, brother, completely.
And just the way it goes, I was like,
yes,
yo, this is crazy, and it's
it's
so low-key good.
I instantly became a fan of hers because of that movie. Like, that movie's just so good, and she's so good in it.
Is she related to Jamie King?
I don't think so.
Oh, she's also in Bullet Train.
Yes, and she's good in Bullet Train too.
And I was like, wait, where the hell does this little girl come from? I was like, where? Like, she looks familiar, but I don't know what I've seen her in.
Yeah.
Like, she's one of those, I think, but her profile has been raised up, especially because of The Princess and then Bullet Train.
Yeah.
But that movie is ridiculous. And it's fun too, because it was like, yo, this is out of nowhere. It reminds me, there's a comic called Princess Ugg. Kind of reminds me of that. But it's just fun, man.
Yeah, the other big thing that she's been in, well, two big things, I guess, if you want to say that that's a big thing. She was in.
Wait a minute, was she in that
the Slender Man movie?
Oh Jesus! Yeah, I don't remember. I've watched it, but I don't remember because it was just bad.
Yeah, but the other big thing that she was in The Act on Hulu.
Yeah, with Patricia Arquette, correct?
Yeah.
Or where it's Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah,
her mother. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yep, the Hulu's been good to her. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would love a Hulu gig. Hulu, you need to. You might need, some geek type of review content. Hulu.
Yeah.
But then again, Netflix might be coming to my town, so I mean.
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, if they show up to E-Town, because I'm like 15 minutes from there.
Okay.
So holla at your boy, because y'all need something, and I got what you need.
Yeah. Another thing that everyone who watches us or listens to us should be looking forward to is Wednesday on Netflix. So the panel
that looks good. that actress. Oh, I forgot to mention what's name. X.
Ah.
Not what I expected it to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's A24.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're doing a trilogy. I don't know of any other movies from A24 that have sequels.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
good for them.
yeah,
A24 movies are amazing. So
they always are.
did you see Men?
No, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that. It looks creepy as all hell.
Yeah, that
With the
movie is
one actor because that actor is great. That's the actor from the first episode of damn, where he was knocking down that pig. Black. Oh my god.
Black
Netflix
Mirror?
series. Yes, thank you.
Yes,
That's
yes,
that
yes.
same actor. And
Yes.
he's always great in stuff. He's been in the Bond films as well.
Yes, yes.
He's always great.
Yeah.
But for him to get that type of to have range for, and I know I say range jokingly a lot of times, Scar Joe, but like to play that many characters,
yeah,
in a movie, like that's like any actor who plays different roles where it's different people or a character with DID and has different personalities. That's like a talent. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
You might be able to play 2, but you play in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No,
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah.
That movie just looks creepy as all hell to me, man.
It is.
That movie just looks creepy as all hell to me. I mean, even when they're like, even when the priest is like, so what did you do to make your husband kill yourself?
Yes.
I was like, wait, what the? I was like, wait, aren't you a priest?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, how did this conversation start? What?
It's creepy. It's creepy as all
Aren't you supposed to be helping people? Like, what is? And then he plays like a little boy in the movie too.
Yes.
Like a little, like I'm like, I'm good on all that.
But
wilding.
Wednesday, I'm looking forward to I was excited beforehand. Like I'm even more excited now.
Yeah, because I love that actress.
Yeah, she's really
she was an X. I think she was in season 2 of You.
Yes,
she was in season 2. She's what else has she been in?
She's also been in some other stuff. She's also a Disney kid. I did not know she was a Disney kid.
That doesn't surprise. That makes sense then. That they be because Disney kids seem to go off and do stuff that's the opposite of Disney.
Yeah, and
which I enjoy. I'm glad they are.
Yeah, she's very nervous during the panel. Like that was like one of her first times being in that kind of setting in front of fans, and she was just like, I think her thing is that she wanted really to kind of just get across to people like, you know, we've been working really hard on this and stuff like that, and like that she's a fan of Christina Ricci's version of it, and she wanted to honor it and everything like that. Like she's got real talent, that girl, like real talent. Like I can see it when she's playing Wednesday in the few scenes that I've seen. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Everything I've seen her and she's been great. Like there hasn't been a role where I've been like, a little much, or you need to give it a little bit more. She's always great in it. She is. Even when it's a big role or a small role.
Yeah, you want me to tell you who they got to play Uncle Fester or no?
Was it Christopher Lloyd?
No.
Who?
Fred Armisen.
Oh shit! Really?
Killing it, dude.
That, you know what? Actually,
killing it.
Because I've watched. As I'm a huge fan of the Portlandia.
Okay.
So I've seen him be all these different characters. Yeah, that can actually work out because he can play these weird characters. He
absolutely killing it, dude.
You know, so I can see that. Oh. So on that note, I hope y'all are scared now. I hope y'all are shaking.
Yeah. We've left you plenty of content to kind of check out.
There's so many different things right now as far as streaming services and the theater. Like this is just a great time of year. So enjoy it, live it up. It's also National Kink Month, so celebrate that while you go watch Hellraiser.
Do it.
Tell them the Hungry Bleak sent you, okay? Remember your safe word. Don't forget it, or else you'll be left hanging outside with peanut butter on your toes and wondering what happened with your life.
Exactly.
True story. True story.
Bring them to the box.
If somebody is like, hey, do you want to play a game? And they go, yeah, and they bring out the opposite of Jenga, just don't even bother. Just leave. It's not really worth your soul. Just go.
Yeah.
But I have such sights to show you. No.
No, I'm out.
Yoink.
Exactly.
I'm out.
Exactly.
I haven't worn this hoodie in like 2 years. It's my favorite hoodie.
Exactly.
I'm trying to prolong it as long as I can. I don't want it to die out on me. So yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed this episode. I don't know why I said it like that.
Episodio?
Yes. Thank you very much to everyone who watched, for the great comments and commentary going through from Carlos Smith Ramsey and Cerise Rennie Murphy. We appreciate everyone who's been involved with this. Thank you. The audio will be going up either tonight or tomorrow, so you can also listen to this in your ear holes, in your auditory intake holes, and enjoy that. The melodious voices. Look, life is different right now for us, so we'll be back. Scheduling might be a little bit different. We'll always let you know. We'll always try and bring the best that we can, and bring it every time. You know what I mean? So on that note, you got any final words, Michael?
I don't know. Be good to each other. And get your tickets for Black Panther, too.
Yeah. That's going to be, for me, well, do the best you can with what you got, because in the end, that's all that you get. Just be as safe as you can be. Just, yeah. And also, I know, fellas, this time of year, we don't like to put on lotion because we're wearing jeans and pants, but still put on lotion. Keep putting on. Don't put on lotion just because of your arms. Don't do that. Put lotion on everywhere. So please. Because look, as someone who did this for years, and then I started going, why don't I put lotion on everywhere? I put lotion on everywhere, and it felt so much better. Your skin is better. Seriously, put lotion on. Stop it. Stop.
Get you some vitamin E and biotin.
Look, get all of them. Get everything. Pour baby oil into your lotion and then rub it, and then mix it with some body butter. Just anything. Layer on, and then take some canola oil and dip in a barrel of that. Anything. Just put it all together. Seriously, fellas.
Layer.
Yeah, seriously. It's enough. Some information. Exactly. That is some information. That was information that you need. That was some information for your ass.
Exactly.
Put that lotion on, fellas, for real. Because your skin, summertime, your skin will thank you. Your body will thank you. Your moisture level will be up. Your moisture stock is up. For real. That's all I got to say, man. Because your skin be flaking. When it's cold, when that wind start hitting you.
The hawk.
When that wind start flying through. And all this, you can write a soliloquy up on your forearm because of the ash. It's not it. It's not it, fellas.
When the hawk come through, you got to be moisturized.
You got to be moist. Think of the moisturizing as your armor, for real. Because when it's all flaking, your jeans look like somebody put like a key of product in your pants. You got your pants like a crime scene. You got skin flakes and DNA all in there. You got an episode of CSI in your pants. Ridiculous.
Oh my god.
I ain't shit. Sorry. So on that note, folks, this has been Michael Williams.
Yes, sir.
I've been Antonio Pomares. You can look us up on IG if you like, Twitter, whatever social media. I hate it all. Whatever social media you want to get on. He is the Cinema CEO. You can see it there. I am the Hungry Bleak. You can see it there. I hate social media. All that. Enjoy your evening, folks. Have a good one. Be safe. Bundle up and drink some water before you go to bed.
Yes.
So your skin is moisturized, and you can put that lotion on in the morning when you wash, or if you wash in the afternoon. I don't know when you're taking a shower. Just wash your ass with the lotion on it. That's all I got. All right. See you, folks. Peace.
Peace out.
Awkward dancing as it goes off.